Members of the Lagos State House of Assembly this past week impeached Mudasiru Obasa as Speaker of the legislative body. The impeached Speaker, who held the position for 10 years, was immediately replaced with the first woman in the history of Lagos to hold the office of Speaker, Mojisola Miranda. Joining us now to have a quick discussion on what possible impact this development might have on the peculiar brand of politics being played in Lagos is Bestman, an ally of Lagos State Governor and a dedicated supporter of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Good morning. Good to have you. Otumba Bestman Nzejumbo. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning indeed. All right. It's been an interesting week within the Lagos politics, particularly within the House of Assembly. Last week, Monday, shall we say the unthinkable happened. Some other people will say that, oh, it was expected. For you, knowing your closeness to the Lagos political establishment, did you see that coming?
Ooh, I'll not be very honest.
You won't be?
If I tell you,
okay.
I never expected it.
Mm-hmm.
At the point, I was beginning to feel, should I use the word pity for the speaker? Because pity in the sense that I was wondering how somebody would, on his own, drive himself into perdition. Yes, there have been issues coming up here and there, but the climax was on the day of the presentation of the 2025 appropriation bill, when he said some things that I was shocked myself. Sorry, I might do a bit of Yoruba here. Yoruba said something about somebody that, I mean, the adversaries want to burn. Now you're rubbing oil on your body. I mean, you are aiding them. That was the height of it all. So since then, I knew something was going to happen. When I was going to be impeachment, I never knew that. But I knew it was in for some troubles.
Well, there have been allegations of, authoritarianism and financial misconduct. Of course, affecting the impact on, there's an impact on public trust. We look at his impeachment, these allegations. How might these allegations and the subsequent leadership change affect the public perception of Lagos State Assembly? And what measures should the new leadership implement to, restore and enhance that public trust in legislative body integrity and accountability? And you've said something, we're talking about the allegations and then, making reference to his behavior during the presentation of the, I mean, we saw what happened. There was a delay before the governor was even seen. And then I read we saw the videos, some of the words that were used. When you think about that holistically, how do you, would I say, that impact on public trust, how do you see it now?
I'm an advocate of not divorcing marketing from the cultural and social realities of the people. Same way in politics. Politics could be peculiar, and it must be, sometimes it's practiced in a way that it suits a particular people and a particular community and environment. Lagos State is peculiar. Lagos politics is built on the supremacy of the party. You might have your opinion about maybe that supremacy being weaved around a particular individual or not, but the fact remains that if you watch the trajectory of Lagos politics in the last 20, 25 years, let me say 20 years, you would have noticed that it is what the party says. Who shapes what the party says is a different topic entirely, but it's all about what the party says. So, in the light of this, in a house of 40 people, 32 signed. Out of those that did not sign, 3, 4, 5 of them, about 5 of them are outside the country as we speak. So it's not because they dissented that didn't make them sign.
You think they would have supported the move?
Conjecture. We don't know. But most likely, seeing some other people that signed, who we assumed were very close to the speaker, it could have been a 40-40.
It is less than 3 or 4 months that the same house passed a vote of confidence on the same Obasa.
That is why you say when the party speaks, everybody moves. So coming to perception again, you and I here cannot prove the allegation of financial impropriety. That's there for the EFCC and those saddled with such responsibilities. So, but high-handedness, as much as some of us will not want to indict the man Obasa, evidences have shown that he needed to have been more temperate. He needed to have mitigated his obvious insubordination to the governor. Because we listened to him make some utterances. When the governor is seated and you are sending some innuendos, telling the governor, those in glass houses, don't throw stones. The governor is coming to the house. Suddenly, 90-95% of them wore black shade. I mean, what was that? Who does that? As the governor was coming in, somebody was on the floor. And the person wanted to pause to say, let's recognize the entrance of the governor. And you were like, no.
Which is a customary thing to do.
He said, you should know, hold on. You will recognize the governor at the appropriate time. I mean, there were things that somebody would look at and say, what was actually wrong? Should you last son Kini? Could this just be ordinary?
All right, so that's where I was coming, because one of the interesting things that trailed his impeachment was the fact that the camp of the governor issued a statement saying that they had no hands in Obasa's impeachment. But you have alluded to the fact that this is a gentleman who has consistently, seemingly disrespected the governor. You mentioned the issue of how the governor was treated and how Obasa behaved during the presentation of the budget. But a lot of people will also move it back slightly to when the nominees for his second term, the cabinet nominees, were presented, and he was, there was a lot of back and forth insisting that certain nominees will not pass and giving his reasons. At what point do you think that the relationship between the governor and the speaker broke down, irrevocably? Or shall we say at what point did the former speaker lose it, given the fact that you said this was somebody that was already walking on the verge of destruction?
You might see me as your enemy, while I don't see you as my enemy. The much I know about Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, I think humility has won him more friends than enemies. The man does not take to heart errors. Now, that's notwithstanding, he has supporters. He has followers. The GAC in Lagos represents, in quotes, the party. They live in communities. They live among the supporters and followers of the APC. And they get feedbacks. Now, if Obasa was misbehaving to the governor, and the governor, because of his own nature, decides to look away, those around the governor might not have the same mien with him. They might just be aggressive. They might just be the volatile set of people and say, we don't agree. Now, does that now mean that it was the governor that said, or that influenced his impeachment? No. But the governor might just be a beneficiary of that impeachment.
You think it's a beneficiary?
I didn't say so. I said it might just be. Because when your people, those supporting you, decide that, no, this has to stop. Somebody is insulted. Somebody once asked me a question. Bestman, will you do this? I said, circumstances might make me do it, though it's not my will to do. Therefore, if the government, if the office of the governor says we're not involved, I believe. But that does not mean they that love the governor were not involved. don't forget also that on that day of the appropriation bill presentation, 2025, appropriation 2025 bill, the GAC members were there.
That's correct.
The deputy governor was there. And they were there like 3 hours, even before the governor came in.
They were kept waiting?
They were kept waiting. And these are the custodians of whatever verities this APC carries in Lagos State. So how do you now, there's something fundamental people are not saying. The angle of the president.
I was going to come to that, but jumping.
Where you practically, let's say, passed a bill that will force local government election in Lagos to be in 20 local governments instead of the 57. And you and I know who the creator of those LCDAs.
Yeah.
And you expect the governor to sign that the election should be held in 20 local governments.
What was his interest in that bill?
This same question should bring us to what was his interest in suspending a local government chairman?
Alimosho.
In Alimosho. Asiwaju's favorite local government.
It used to be known as Asiwaju's country.
You know that. So that's when you look at it and say, you will say, "She
Is
Could this be a spell?
It's the second time you
exactly because I really, if I had personal issues with him, I'd be happy it happened. But I don't. So I'm bothered. Why would you act this way? Knowing the location of your political interest, Lagos. I mean, there are enough antecedents to tell you to beware.
If it's not a spell, could it be about ambition?
Yeah, I was going to go there because there is just to add to that, he said while he was during that 2025 presentation, he said also becoming governor is secondary. It is something that I have not given serious consideration. Nevertheless, that does not mean I am too young or lack experience to run, whereas those who have been before me are not better off. Let's leave it there. So there are people that are saying that this is about ambition. This is about him wanting to become governor, and there being like a leveling playing field. What would you say to persons that have put that forward?
I have played Lagos politics now, let me say, actively since Asiwaju became second time Asiwaju as governor.
2023.
Then directly involved with Fashola. So it's still part of why I'm curious to know what could have made this guy say these things that he said. Who wrote that speech for him? A Tim Dakon is not better than you. A Tinubu is not better than you. A Fashola is not better. An Ambode is not better. A Babajide Sanwo-Olu is not better.
He was trying to say they were no more qualified to be governor than him.
Basically, they were not better than him. Let's use the right word. They were not better. Whether qualification, whether the content of his brain, anything, but basically they were not better. Thank God he didn't say he was better than them. But he said they were not better. And you ask yourself, why? So in Lagos, without being insulting here.
Yeah.
So in Lagos would go from an Asiwaju, from a Fashola, from an Ambode to an Obasa.
Yeah, but
it's time to ask ourselves questions.
Yeah, but if Obasa could be speaker for 10 years, why can't he not be governor?
If he could be speaker for 10 years, well, I don't know what informs who becomes speaker.
Because if we go by your
logic,
logic...
we've seen speakers in Lagos.
Yes.
We've seen a Mamora.
Yes.
We've seen a Kufoliji. We've seen a Pelumi... Jokotola. Steve, you've been a commissioner in Lagos. So you know Lagos. You can question the intellectual capacity of these people vis-a-vis what we've had in the last few years. Thank God I've been peace in Lagos based on that well-structured party itinerary of Lagos State. It might not be because of an Obasa. But like you said, if he could be speaker, automatically, man, he could have valued himself good enough to also be governor. But I don't think it is the ambition to be governor that anybody considered to say remove Obasa. Ekufoliji contested, even went through the primaries, but didn't get the ticket of the party. So Obasa would have also contested and meet people in the primaries and see who will come out. Somebody said they are trying to clear the road for Sheyi Tinubu by removing Obasa. What insult? Sheyi is qualified to contest as governor. Obasa is qualified. Steve, you are qualified. I'm qualified. But one person will be governor, and it is who the party wants. So it's not because he wanted to be governor, he had the political ambition of being a governor that's influenced his impeachment.
Those who read politics and watch politics keenly will say that if there are 8, 9, 10 names being paraded, and one of them suddenly appears to have dropped off the radar or has been removed, like Obasa has been removed, that's one man down for whoever will eventually emerge. So maybe you can't blame those who are saying that maybe it was cleared off the road because of Sheyi Tinubu or because of whoever the party will choose to run.
Assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. That you assume something doesn't make it right. Like I said, I have been a participant. I might not be a politician, but I've been an active participant in Lagos politics. I'm politically exposed. I do not see Obasa as a threat to even a Sheyi Tinubu. Neither do I see Obasa as a threat to. Unfortunately, at the risk of jumping the gun, if nobody has told us that the deputy governor want to contest, as he has also not said so himself. But assuming you have a deputy governor like Adamsat.
Now you're going into assumptions too.
That's what I said. Assumption is the lowest form of knowledge.
Yeah.
So there's no way anybody can tell me that Obasa had to be removed because it was a threat. Maybe it's only Agege that will vote for the governor. But at the same time, what is his overall popularity in Agege? He has helped some people. He has his own followers, and they are good to him. Like I said, he has done nothing to me, but I'm just looking at it. I'm playing the cards on the table the way it is, and I can tell you, Obasa was not a threat.
Okay, so let's talk about the legislative-executive relationships. It prospects under, the new first female speaker here in Lagos. The relationship between the legislative and executive branches in Lagos State is pivotal for development and effective governance. With Speaker Miranda at the helm, how do you anticipate the dynamics between the House of Assembly now, as it were, under her leadership, and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration evolving?
Because it's Lagos, I will still not run away from employing some Yoruba expressions.
It's over as you translate.
The man that falls into a pit will teach those coming behind what to do and how to walk. Miranda has the opportunity of seeing what has happened, an opportunity of making corrections. And I believe she's very capable, because for you to be a deputy speaker in Lagos, it's assumed that when the speaker is not there, you will take charge.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't put somebody who was not sound or who's not sound there. So to that extent, I believe she's capable of doing the right thing. And prior to now, until we started hearing of these polemics and bickering, we never heard of the executive and legislative in Lagos having issues. It was a harmonious working relationship that's helped in the development of Lagos. And because anybody from any of the arms that will become a clog in the wheel of progress for Lagos, Lagos has a way of checkmating or even getting you out of the way. So, couple the fact that if there were divisions in the impeachment process, that we had like 18, 15 people saying no, and this other one saying yes, yeah, we could have envisaged that she might have some problems of alignment and getting things done. But it was unanimous. So I don't see any problem.
What lessons overall do you think that politicians should pick from, maybe it will be unfair to say Obasa's fall, but shall we say Obasa's predicament, given the fact that this is not the first time that a speaker will be removed. You recall that of Pelumi, who was also removed. But in his own case, at that time, the deputy speaker, who happened to be a female, Fumita Joshua, was not deemed worthy, to step in. That was why, what's his name, our friend from Ekwe, Kuforiji, became the speaker. Now that Obasa is no longer speaker, he's still a member of the House, although we are told that he's abroad and he hasn't returned home. What are the lessons that you think they should speak out, to those in the system, to those outside of the system? Power corrupts, we are told. Looking at the very humble beginnings of Mudasiru Obasa himself, even before he became a councillor. But then he started his political journey from being a councillor and then to House of Assembly. All of a sudden, he wears #1 cap. Don't begrudge him because of that. So I'm saying, what lessons should we learn from moving from grass to grace and then appearing like you return to the very bottom?
I've always known that a vindictive person does not go far. And I've seen the benefits of humility. All through allegations of Fashola having issues with Tinubu, you never had Fashola make any statement against Asiwaju. Fashola once told me, when I asked a question during the crisis, he said, Yoruba again, anybody sheni lóore tabaron fi san fún ká má ṣe bí fún.
Translate.
If anybody does you good and you don't have the means to pay him, don't do him evil. That was how Fashola said it at that time. I've seen Baba Jide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. In all this, you'll never hear him anywhere make derogatory statements against Obasa or against any perceived hindrance to his leadership of Lagos. That is enough to teach us that humility in all that we do is key. I mean, probably Obasa never thought some 20 years back or 25 years ago that he would get to where he got to now. I've also noticed that Abinibi is a key issue. I mean, that's inborn thing.
Pedigree.
The pedigree. The orientation matters. That is from home, from the parents. Then street credibility is another big advantage in politics. When you understand the streets, it will calm you. Humility is key in Lagos politics. You cannot rise above the party, especially the APC. I don't know about other parties, but I know about the APC.
Does this say anything about 2027 at all? Moving closer now, we're almost at the middle line.
I once tried to get words out of...
it's too early to get...
Out of Mr. Governor. Who is the next person coming? He said, what's your problem? I'm not going for third time. When the person is brought, you still be called upon to work for him. So I'm not in a hurry to do.
All right, Bestman, Mr. Jumbo, we want to thank you. It's not your first time, of course, being here. We want to thank you for joining us on the morning show today.
And many adages.
Bringing insight into the pub. Absolutely. I mean, your name shows. Are you where exactly are you from?
From Bonny.
From Bonny?
Oh, wow.
In River State?
Africa's richest community.
All right. Not Lagos, Abby. Thank you, Bestman. Good to have you.